This is Ray Barnes with Camden Phantoms and the Phantom Zone. Before we get started, if this is your first time watching Phantom Zone, this is where we have real conversations with the people building the SCA Phantoms the right way. If you value preparation, accountability, and understanding what goes on behind the scenes, take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel. That helps you stay connected as we move closer to the 2026 season. Coach, this conversation is about evaluation and direction. We're coming out of training camp and heading into regular off-season workouts starting January 3rd, with the season opener set for March 7th, 2026. This is not about selling anything. It is about clarity for players, families, and partners who want to understand how this program is being built. Today, we're going to be sitting down talking with our head coach and the director of football operations, Chet Pike. So grab you something to drink, drop comments down below. We're going to be here probably about 30 minutes to an hour just talking with our head coach. So we're going to jump right into this. Coach Pike, when you look back at training camp as a whole, what did it tell you about this team?
Well, we have a few guys that take it serious. They're learning the playbook. They're understanding the route concepts and the plan, the goal, I guess our purpose, what we want to do this year. We've got a handful of guys that, in my opinion, really want it. That's kind of encouraging because, we've had a couple rocky years. One year we just struggled. Of course, anytime you're fresh and new, it's going to be tough. And then the next year, we just kind of plundered around and didn't make it. It wasn't going to be worthy to continue, so we just shut it down. So, you don't know what to expect when you come off a season like that because guys can just say, oh, well, I don't really want to be a part of that. Or they can be like, oh, well, it'll be another year like last year. I'll show up when I want to kind of thing. So you just don't know what to expect. And we've had several guys come back, a couple new guys that are going to be an addition to the team that they want it. And it's exciting to coach them because it keeps you fresh and it just makes you want to be a part of the program as well. I mean, obviously you want to be a part of the program. That's why we're here. But when you have those attitudes out there mixed in with, I guess what you call our veterans, it just makes it fun. I think we got a good shot at doing something this year, maybe surprise a few people. And, obviously our goal is always to win. But, we've got, like I said, we got a handful of guys that really want it. And we got, a few more dipped into that have the right attitudes. And once we mix all that together, we only got to have 8 on the field that truly want to play. Right. But, it'd be nice, that we've had several showing up to practices that we can always, give some rest. And they might not have to play both ways because, we have several showing up to practices. That's a huge plus because the last 2 years we haven't had that. Unless we called a blue-white game, we didn't have everybody show up. And these last couple practices that we've had more show up than we've had just about any practice that we've ever had in the last 2 years. So my evaluation is I think we've got a good core group. Our leaders are fantastic. I like our captains. And I like the new guys that have sprinkled in with some of our veterans. I think we've got a good chance this year of, like I said, surprising some people. I hope they think we're, going to be easy because that'll make it more fun for us.
Yes. What confirmed what you already believed, Coach?
We're doing the right thing here. We're not just showing up and playing and having recess. That's what I call it when you just go out there and throw a ball around and have fun for 2 hours. No, I mean, we do have some fun. Don't get me wrong, but we're doing it right. We have standards. We have certain things that we expect from our players on a regular basis, not just sometimes and not just some players. It's all of them, and they're all held to the same standard and accountable for each other. So that's what I'm enjoying the most right now is it's like I said, it's been tough for 3 years. We kind of got walked on, and I think that's what's kind of expected of us this year. And, we kind of take pride in that. It's like, okay, good. I'm glad we're the underdog. We got nothing but to prove to go upward on this. So we'll see what happens. Obviously, we got to do something. We can't just go out there and expect people to give us a game. Well, we're going to fight for everything we get.
Right.
But again, we got a great owner, or a great ownership, I should say. They do anything for the guys, myself, and included. So with that being the top of our, or maybe that's the beginning, I should say, of where our standard starts. I think we've got a lot going for us. So we'll build on that. Again, our captains are bought in 100%. And once we get everybody on the same game plan, we're going to be all right. We're going to be tough.
Okay. What challenged your assumptions you had coming in?
Well, I mean, no disrespect. You're dealing with grown men. They do what they want to do. It's in high school where bell rings and all your athletes show up, and hit the weight room, and they got nowhere to go. Well, I guess you always had some that try to disappear, but you didn't count on them. You didn't count on them anyways. You knew they were just kind of out there and wanting to be in the uniform. But these grown men, so they got jobs, they got families, they got things they want to do, and so the biggest thing for me was finding the ones that are going to take it serious. It's not just something to do. I love playing basketball, but I don't go out there and take it serious. I'm not running every day and weightlifting and practicing my shot. No, I just go out there and have fun. So again, it's nice to have people on the team that are, having a good time, but we need guys that want to take it serious, that would love to go play arena ball. Maybe they want to go get whatever eligibility they might have left and go play college somewhere at some point in time. But then you're going to have those guys that have no eligibility, that don't have the desire to go D1, D2, D3, JUCO, or arena football. They just want to play some football for next 5-6 years, of their life before they just say, okay, I'm done. But at least we want them to take it serious, because, the goal is to win. It's fun winning. Nobody is going to have a good time losing.
Right. What showed up consistently during training camp and not just on a good day?
Well, first of all, the players. I mean, we've had a good showing from the beginning. We know we only have to have 8 on the field instead of 11, so that's kind of a plus for us, because we always struggled getting numbers. But again, this year, from the first practices, we've had decent numbers compared to our previous year, and now we only have to have 8 on the field. So that, to me, is the first thing that has proven to be a success for us. The playbook, we've got guys that are familiar with it now. It's not brand new anymore. They're starting to understand not just their position, but the purpose of the play and what others have to do. So that's helpful.
Okay. From a coaching standpoint, what were the most encouraging things you saw during training camp?
The leadership of what, the captains they're taking accountability, not just for themselves, but for the team. You can see some of them coaching on the field already. Those that have truly bought into the playbook are learning it. Obviously, you're always going to have some that just, maybe it's just a mental thing and they're struggling to understand. Maybe it's just a lack of effort and they're not understanding because they're not in the playbook. But it's nice to see our captains, picking it up, and they're helping, because once we call a play and have to put it on the field, it's up to those 8 to get it done. We can't go out there and draw it up. They have to already know what it is and what to do.
Okay. What made those positives repeatable?
I'm sorry, say that again.
What made those positives repeatable?
Well, I mean, we go over it over and over and over. I guess we just have to say that the best part of, and it's not really answering your question, the fact that they were positives. That's important right there. That they are learning, they are able to continue to grasp the understanding of a playbook instead of just show it to me and then I'll know what to do. No, I mean, at this point in time, you need to kind of know the play and have the understanding of at least what you do. But repeatable, I guess just we've done it enough now that, again, it's just a handful. We don't have everybody on this page yet. There's always some type of straggler in whatever business you run or team you have organized. There's always a straggler somewhere. So if we ever get them on this page, and we're going to be fine. But again, we've got good captains. They'll lead that hopefully before they break the huddle, they'll have everything ironed out and get it done before the clock runs out.
Okay. What did camp reveal that still needs improvement before this team is ready for the season?
Well, we got a few that need to get in shape. Well, not all, just a few. When you got some that maybe it's work that just has them because we've been around the holiday season. So we got some that need to come more often. Not all, there's some. And then again, we've got some that just need to learn the playbook. So, but I wouldn't say that's our core at all. Those are those stragglers I'm talking about that maybe they just want to play football. They don't want to be good at it. But, I mean, that's just my interpretation. If you want to be good at something, you put the work into it.
Okay. Would you say that was an effort issue, a technique issue, or just a time issue?
Well, again, we're dealing with grown men. So are they really at work? Fine. You know, that's great. You got to have a job. Are they really spending time with their family? Understandable. We want you to spend time with your family. That's way more important than playing football. But then it comes down to the effort. If you're going to be here, learn. If you're going to, be here, give us 100%. Make sure you're in shape when you're here, because you don't get in shape coming to practice. You get in shape on your own throughout the week, the months to come. And there's still a little bit of time to do that. So, I'm not down in anybody. I'm just pointing out those are some of our flaws right now, is those few people, if they'll ever just buy in and sell out and say, you know what, I'm going to put in my effort. I'm going to get in shape. I'm going to put in my effort. I'm going to get in that playbook. When I'm at practice, I'm going to give it all I got and make sure I'm tired after practice is over.
Okay. What cannot be ignored at this stage, Coach?
Little things, snap count, where do you line up? Just those little minor details. You can't be the ones getting penalized. I mean, we're already, as they say, we're going to be the cakewalk this year. So we don't need to shoot ourselves in the foot. Right. Everybody else so much better than us. We're going to have to play our best. We're going to have to play a perfect game. So, we can't make little mistakes at all. We got to tackle. We got to be in the right position. Simple football.
Okay. We're going to pause here briefly. If you're getting value from this conversation, make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Phantom Zone is where we provide clarity and context as this program continues to grow. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back with our head coach, Chet Pike, as we're sitting down and talking about training camp as we get ready to go into off-season workouts. we're sitting down with Head Coach Chet Pike. We're going over the evaluations from the training camp and also getting his thoughts on what he has seen during that time period. Next, we're going to talk about the standards and accountability. Coach Pike, what standards became clear to you during camp, both in what met the mark and what did not?
Well, we got people showing up. Um, it took a couple of practices for them to understand that we want them there before time. Obviously, you got guys that work to a certain time of day, and we got guys driving from Monroe. That's good little ways, and of course they're getting off work, so they're doing a great job getting there. And we just have a few guys that might be playing with their. What's a good way to look at that? Being on time.
Yes.
But the last few practices, actually, there's more guys there. They've already got the ball out. They've done their stretching. They're warming up, running some routes. So that is a huge plus because as a coach, you want guys that want it. You want guys that can not just do the job, but they can, encourage others. They can be the coach on the field.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm always out there doing the one hollering and correcting or encouraging, however discipline, however you want to look at that, if I'm that only voice, it really makes it hard on the coach. So once you get other guys to start stepping up and being that leader, obviously they have to be the example of what you want, the standard, before, you just say, okay, here's the reins, take off, but, like I said, we've got 4 good captains that do a great job of that. So once they, have shown that this is what we want, this is the quality we're looking for, this is the effort we want, then it's nice to see them out there leading. And, obviously I'm not going to stop saying what I got to say, but makes it easier. I'll say that as a coach. And, you're always going to have your stragglers that buck and don't want to do right. They're not going to show up on time. They're not going to listen. They're not going to get in the playbook. But I told them the other day, it's like, if you're going to be behind me at practice, you're going to be behind me at a game. You'll be watching just like I'm watching. So you want to be out there. It's time to show out in practice. First of all, you got to show up, and then you got to know what the heck you're doing when you're there. Otherwise, you're going to be behind me. So, that would probably, I guess, be the down of it right now is we've still got a few stragglers that haven't just said, you know what, I want this, and I'm in it.
Okay. What separates acceptable from unacceptable in the Phantom program?
Well, we always want people to give their best, their 100% effort. And so even if you do it wrong and you're going full speed, man, that's a plus. Because if you're going full speed, I can work with that. What would be unacceptable is just not giving it all you got. Even if you did it right and you didn't do it 100%, I mean, that's still unacceptable. Yeah, you did it right, but you weren't going full speed. And so, you're going to be playing other teams that really want it, have been doing it for years. And so if they're doing it mediocre, well, we're going to have to be perfect. If they're doing it perfect, then we just have to match it. And man, I hope we're good enough. And that's kind of, our mindset this year is, we've got to prove that we're good enough. We got to compete. Obviously, we've got to put up a W somewhere, or nobody's ever going to, believe in this. We can believe in ourselves all we want, but we're going to have to put up points on the board, and defense going to have to stop the other team, and that's the only way you win. You put up more points than they do.
Okay. How do you address standards without lowering expectations?
Well, you have a standard and you set that wherever you set it. If it's too high, it's just too high and people aren't going to make it. I don't think our standard's too high. I think the standard's right where it's supposed to be. We want successful athletes here. We want people who really want to go somewhere, where they want to play arena ball, where they want to go play college ball. We that's our goal, is to push our guys to another level. And one day we're watching them play something somewhere. And then we can say, well, we were a small part of that. We don't mind guys that come out here and just want to play because, they're old and they miss football. That's great. We enjoy having those guys around. But we want guys that really want it and want to go to another level. And so, we have a standard, and if they're not going to meet the standard, well, they're not going to have much fun here. They're going to get tired of me. They'll get tired of this system, and they probably won't get a whole lot of play time because they're not taking it serious enough.
Okay. I'm going to come back to that thought. Let me get this question out first, then we're going to come back to it, Coach. We know we got players who are on the fence about coming to play or going somewhere else or just sitting back watching. What should they understand about the expectations we have here?
Well, we expect to win. That's our goal. Obviously, we all know what happens. As soon as you get your first victory, everybody's going to come out and say, we want to play. We want to be a part of this. Well, you should already have been a part of this. We'll see you next year. We plan on being successful. That's why we're here. That's why we're doing what we do. So it's going to happen. It's just a matter of time. Just got to keep putting in the work. You got to work harder than the next guy, because there's somebody else out there lifting weights and running, and they love football just as much as you do. So until you've done more than they did, you're not going to meet that criteria of a win, and nobody's going to give it to you. So, yeah, if they're riding that fence right now, the best thing they can do is just go ahead and say, you know what, I'm going to buy into this system or I'm not. And if you're not, that's fine. We'll still be here. Mm-hmm. And if you buy into the system, then it's going to pay off because, we need guys that are serious and that want it. And so if you're one of those guys, then come on out. It's not too late. But soon we'll be. Won't be long. We'll start our season, and we won't be adding to our roster. You can come watch us practice. Heck, you can come practice with us and be a part of the practice squad for the whole year, but you won't step on that field unless you hurry up and get involved.
Right. All right. Now let me go back to something you said earlier. I want to know what kind of player would actually thrive in our environment that we're building here.
Well, an athlete, number one, someone who played football for, 3 to 4 years at least. Mm-hmm. They were a starter. Those are the guys that are going to thrive here because they're going to have the understanding of what they're supposed to already be doing. If they were successful in high school or maybe they played college, they'll be successful here. We're going to have them set up for success. We have structure here. We have plans. And so, if you come in here with that mindset of, it's going to be similar to high school or college, you're right, it is. And we're going to propel you as far as we can go, and as far as you want to go. We've had some really good athletes come through in the last 3 years. And if we had every one of them back on this team, wow, we would be tough. But of course, they move on because, things didn't work out that first year or that second year. And we understand that. But we've got a great group of guys right now. We've got some really good athletes right now. Like I said, if we all buy in, we're going somewhere. We're going to do something this year. And I think that's going to happen. I really believe it is. We still got time to get everybody on the same page. But if you're riding that fence, if you're an athlete watching from the outside, or maybe you've only come to one practice or one tryout, and you're like, I don't know about this. Well, if you're serious and you want something this year, come on. But you better. We got practice every Saturday, 4:00. You better be there. Don't be missing because you miss. You're not going to be a part of us very long.
Right. All right. Next, we're going to talk about player development and evaluation. Have you seen individual players make noticeable progress week to week?
Well, we have our tryouts throughout the end of the summer, if you will. And, we see people's speed, we see people's abilities, but then, we start having our practices, and that's when you kind of start fitting them where you think they'll, be better, whether they're running back, linebacker, DB, receiver, lineman, whatever. And at that point, you can start really kind of saying, okay, this is what, you know, we need you to be, or this is what you're going to be, and this is where your best fit is right now. And I mean, they may be able to play multiple positions, but you know, just because you're fast doesn't mean you're a wide receiver. Can you catch the ball? Do you know your routes, and you know, things of that nature? Do you block downfield? So there's a lot of things that, you know, that come into be a factor on, you know, evaluating your players. Uh, but the biggest one for me is having that attitude. Do you want to be here? Are you going to be your best while you're here? And are you going to be here often? And we've got a few guys that do that. And, you know, I think that's the most important part of our team right now is we've got a nice group showing up on a regular basis. And, you know, we're fixing to start practicing more often now. We practice every week now. And so I'm excited to see some growth because, you know, the word will get out, you know, that it's serious.
Okay. We're going to get to that growth in a minute. But first, what does real improvement look like to you, Coach?
Being better than you were the last week or the last time I saw you. It's not necessarily about increasing your speed or your strength. It's just being a better person, being a better blocker, being a better team player. There's so much to football. I mean, it's not just one thing. You know, you're not just a good 3-point shooter like you might be in basketball. No, it's a team game. It's an ultimate team game. You got to block sometimes. You got to tackle sometimes. I mean, catch the ball, throw the ball, whatever it is. You know, you're so involved. Maybe you don't make the tackle, but because you were in the right position on the field, you forced the ball carrier outside or inside to the tackle to where the strength of the defense is. So there's just so much to it. You got to, there's way more to it than just one individual thing. And so, you know, having the right attitude, being coachable, knowing what it is I'm supposed to do on certain plays or where I'm supposed to line up. What are the keys I'm looking for? All that is just so important. It's critical in football. You got to know, like they say, do your job. You got to know your job to do your job. If you don't know the job, then you're just out there.
Okay. Now, you talked about growth earlier. My question is, what usually causes that growth?
Understanding. Once someone, you know, it's like reading a book. As you read that book, you start to understand the plot, and you know, you start to enjoy it. So, if you can understand what it is we're trying to do here, not just the playbook, for example, not just a formation or a route, but once you start to understand what we're trying to accomplish here, then you start to appreciate it, and you start to go, okay, you know, I can be a part of this. This is where I fit, and this is what I'm going to do to make it better. And you know, that to me is the best part of it is understanding what it is I can do. If you don't have any understanding of what it is you can do, how are you going to do your job? You know, do you even know what you're supposed to do? So the understanding of what it is that we've got going on here and the direction we're going, once you get involved in that, and of course you got to come to more than one practice to get that.
Yes.
That's what's going to make you be him, for example. That's what's going to get you to that point is you understand.
Okay. How do you evaluate a player beyond what fans see on game day?
Well, you got to see them more than once. You see them on a regular basis. Again, their attitude tells everything. You know, you can have a bad day. Don't get me wrong. We all have bad days, but you can't let that bad day change who you are. You still got to be the same person. You can be angry. You can be happy. Regardless, you can be broke. You can be rich. It doesn't matter. You can't let it change who you are. And who you are is what we're looking at. And so that's what we evaluate. Your attitude. Are you going to give up? Are you going to quit? Are you going to fight? You know, things of that nature. That's all involved in your character, who you are. We say be him because we want you to be like Christ. In other words, let's be perfect. Let's have a goal. Let's don't mess this up. Let's run the race to win the crown. Those are things we've talked about when we say be him. And of course, in the world, when we say be him, it's be the man. You know, everybody wants to be the man.
Mhm.
Well, that's what we want. Christ was definitely the man when we think about that. But in the same case, he was the greatest team player ever. He gave up his life for us. So, that's what we're looking for, is that attitude of, are they going to be him in every situation, every down, and every, whether it's a screw up or whether it's a great tackle, are they going to be him? Are they going to get too prideful and it's all about me and their ego is going to take them out of the game? Or are they going to be humble and they're going to be a great team player and they're going to lift others up when they fall? Those are the things that we look at. And attitude, that understanding of what it is we're trying to accomplish, and be him, be that man.
Okay. What matters more, assignment, effort, or execution?
Wow.
If you had to rank them.
Well, there's two ways to look at that. There's offense and there's defense.
Okay.
Offense has to execute or the play doesn't work. Unless the defense just messes up big time. Defense, I would say assignment with effort being the next one. Offense, I would say execution with effort being the next one. Now, I guess you could kind of assignment, if you don't know where you're going, then you're going to really botch things up on. But that's where execution falls in. You have to execute the play on offense to be successful. And defensively, you have to be in the right place. Because whether you're in coverage, whether you're DN, you got to be in the right place, because there's certain things that we are requiring and expecting you to do so that everybody else on the field does their job. Once one person's out of their assigned area, well, that's the weak spot. That's either where the ball is going to be passed to or the running back may cut back to, and then before you know it, they're out the gate. 8-man football, it's a lot of grass.
Yes. All right. What shows up on film that changes your evaluation?
You can see players' efforts. Somebody does something right for the first 5 steps of the play. They do it perfectly, but the play's still going. Why did they stop? You can run downfield and follow the ball carrier in case he fumbles the ball. You can run downfield. Maybe you get in front of him and make an extra block. Maybe you're on defense. In the first 5 steps, you were covering your man perfectly. Well, now you see the ball has crossed the line of scrimmage. Well, there's no need to cover that man anymore. Go make a tackle. So, when I watch game film, I'm looking at what are they doing for the whole play. I don't want to hear, well, I guarded my man. Okay, yeah, you may have guarded your man, but then what? What happened next? Because there's so much more to the play than just, well, I did my job for the first 10 steps. There's more to it. We don't know what's going to happen if you had continued that play. You may have caused a fumble. You may have picked up a fumble. There's so much that can happen.
Okay. We're going to pause here again. Again, if you're getting value from this conversation with our head coach, Chet Pike, make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Phantom Zone is where we provide clarity and context as this program continues to grow. We'll be right back. All right, and we are back. Again, we're talking with head coach Chet Pike about his evaluation from the training camp and getting his outlook as we begin off-season tryouts this coming Saturday. Not tryouts, I'm sorry, off-season workouts in preparation for the season opener on March 7th. Again, if you've been on the fence about joining, this is your opportunity to come out and just look at what we are doing. If you have any questions, you can talk to myself or Coach Pike after practice. Practice will start at 4 p.m. We'll wrap up around 7 p.m. We will be at Ivory Clark Park. That is 828 Visor Avenue Southeast, right here in Camden, Arkansas. Coach, we're going to go into the off-season workouts and preparation. As regular off-season workouts begin January 3rd, what is your primary focus as head coach?
Our main goal is to make sure that we have 8 guys functioning as a team on offense and getting the same thing out of our 8 guys on defense, and then our 8 men on special teams. We've got to know now, how do we function as a team? We keep throwing routes, before practice and man-to-man coverage, however you want to do it. Before practice starts, we can go over all the little drills, but it's time to start putting 8 men together working as a unit.
Okay. Well, you already talked about it, so I just asked that question one more time. What must improve before March 7th?
It's a good question. Just that team unity. We've got our 8 guys on offense right now. Of course, it can always change. 1 or 2 people move here or there. But for this next month, those 8 guys are going to work as a unit, and we're trying to perfect what we can and can't do. We got to find our strengths. We got to make sure we, identify our weaknesses and be careful with them. We don't want them to get exposed too easily. And maybe we can, strengthen our weakness so that it's not truly a weakness. It may not be our strength anymore, but it's not a weakness. So that's our goal, is just to get 8 guys to form at one unit and function properly on a regular basis. No mistakes.
Okay. Well, it's kind of running into the questions I have, but what progress would tell you the team is on schedule?
When we can call a play from the sideline and not have any distraction, no guessing, and they break the huddle and they run it properly. Or maybe we get defensively, we can, adjust to the formation properly. Maybe we can cover properly. And of course, break down and make tackles regularly. We can't have missed tackles in this league at all.
Okay. How do off-season workouts set the tone for the entire season?
Well, you're during the off season, you're telling the guys who we're going to be, and they either buy into it or they don't. At this moment, I believe they, most of them already were what we wanted, and now they're saying, okay, this is who I'm going to be. And some of them have really bought into it very well, because they already said, hey, that's who I am right now. So, we might have 1 or 2 guys playing out of position that they normally would have played, but they have that strength and that ability to handle the job that we're asking. And until someone else takes their place, that's what they're going to do, and they're going to be great at it because they're already that person.
Okay. What habits are you, Coach, trying to establish now with this team?
Got to depend on them. I mean, of course, I always, years and years ago, I always depended on my players to do what I expect of them. I mean, it didn't matter if they were my quarterback or my right guard. You always depend on your players. That's why you put them in those positions. I wouldn't put them there if I couldn't trust them to do the job. My main habits right now is just being more and more focused on this 8-man football, because it's new to me. I mean, it's not something I grew up in. I didn't play 8-man football, so I'm having to just be kind of in the rule book and just study it, study my playbook as well, and just see, what flaws there may be in it. What are some areas that we can uh, attack? And I look forward to seeing some more game film from others because I want to see, is there something out there I'm just not accustomed to, and maybe I can learn something from. So that would be my habits. Is I'm trying to study this 8-man league as much as possible.
Okay. Let's talk about the expectations and the season outlook. Based on everything you have seen so far, how have your expectations for this season been shaped?
Well, I always go into it expecting to win, expecting to be successful. As you watch your players come through and you start putting offense and defense together, you can see where you have uh, some really good strengths, and then you can see where, okay, you have some areas that you need to shore up and make better, so that it's not exposed. But in the process of, guys showing up to practice, you go, okay, I can really count on this person. And then you go, okay, that person's a scratch. I got to get them out of there because I can't depend on them right now. And this guy's showing up on a regular basis and he'll just take his spot. May not have been as fast, may not have been as strong, but, obviously if they're there on a regular basis, then I can count on them. So my expectations have changed only because of personnel. Maybe they're not coming back, or maybe they're not serious yet, and so those expectations changed. But that's life. I mean, you might have somebody get hurt, so it's great to go ahead and make changes now because then I know who my backups are and who my third string is because maybe they weren't coming to practice. So it was a blessing in disguise.
Okay. What expectations have stayed the same?
Well, I mean, again, we want to win. That's the goal. You don't just play the game to play; you play to win. So I expect to win, and I expect to. Uh, everybody's going to stay the same standards. Of we're going to be here on a regular basis. We're going to be on time. We're going to do what we're asked to do, and we're going to do it to our best ability. We're going to be him.
Okay. What expectations have evolved?
I don't know about any evolving. Uh, dealing with grown men's way different than dealing with high school. That's for sure. Because high school pretty much has to be there.
Mm-hmm.
Grown men don't. I learned that first year that we did this, and then it's the same old when you're dealing with semi-pros. They'll show up when they want to. But I guess the evolving is we're going to play those that show up. That way, we're not worried about the rest.
Okay. We talked about this offline, but for people considering investing their support into this program, whether it's their time, their finances, what should they understand about how this team is being built?
Well, we're doing it the right way. We obviously care about our community, and then anybody that wants to, be a part of us, not just our players and in our organization. We do plan on being, giving back in ways as we set up those types of things. Of course, right now our main focus is just, learning football and playing football.
Mm-hmm.
But we do want to give back to our community. We want to support our community and be a part of it. Again, we're building it the right way. This isn't just a bunch of people just running around with their heads cut off and just having a good time. We have expectations. I think, our ownership runs a tight ship. We're not going to just have a bunch of, I don't know what's a good word to put there, but we're not going to allow just goofiness. I'll just leave it at that.
Okay. As we head toward March 7th, once again, what does success look like for you between now and opening day?
Success to me would be being able to call, any formation, any play, and then executing it. That would be a huge success. Defensively, whatever, coverages we call, making tackles, being in the right place. Those, and without giving anything away, I don't want to say anything just people can key on. But making tackles, executing a play, regardless of formation, we know what to do, where to be, and how to do it. That's success. Of course, if you do those things, you execute. Like we've said before, every play they draw up is a touchdown. I mean, people don't draw up a play for 3 yards; they draw up a play for a big gain touchdown. And so, if you execute and you do your part, you're going to be successful. You don't have to worry about anything else. You might play somebody that's just 10 times better than you, but you're still going to have success. You're going to move the ball.
Okay. Well, Coach, I appreciate the honesty and clarity. This conversation gives everyone watching a real understanding of where this program is and where it's headed. If you found this conversation valuable, we invite you to like the video and subscribe to the Phantom Zone channel. This is where we continue to share honest insight, preparation, and perspective as we move toward the 2026 season and our opener on March 7th. Thank you for taking the time to watch, and thank you for supporting what we are building. We will see you next time in the Phantom Zone. Thank you again, Coach. You have a good day.
Thank you. You too. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, everybody.